Alright traders, I'm back again with another video. In this video we want to take a look at a penny stock that we were looking at, Second Sight Medical Products. The ticker symbol is EYES, eyes. So we were looking at this, and there's a reason why we started to look at this, and I'm going to go and show you why I started to look at it in the first place. But now, as you could see here, it's pretty flat here. It's not really moving higher. It's kind of like in between this range of 1.48 and 2.6. So $1.48 to $2.60 in that range. And then you can see the midpoint here, roughly about 205. So this is also the 52-week high and low, but since it's hit that 52-week high and low, it's ranged in that area. Now there's a couple reasons why we really started looking at that stock, and when we did look at it, we noticed this support and resistance level. Now Ichimoku doesn't really help us at this point because it's kind of flat here, and for me to show you how to use Ichimoku on a range is a lot more involved. So I'm going to take it off of the chart. I'm going to just hide it, and then we're going to come back to it. Alright, so now we got Ichimoku off the chart, and we're just going to look at the price action pretty much in support and resistance levels. So when we look at that, we could see here on the daily chart there's a support level right here, roughly at 148. Alright, so that was pretty important because yesterday the stock closed down here and it closed at 153. Now I was saying if it dropped a little lower, we were looking to get to this level 148 and see if we could get in, but today it gapped up. It gapped up a little bit to 150. I think it gapped up to 157. So once it gapped up to 157, I already got into the stock, and now it's moved up high here. It's reached the point of 185, but it's currently at 182. Alright, so the thing that you see here is this support and resistance level. And now I want to tell you and show you why I even started looking at this stock, okay? So let's go to a website, and then we'll come back to this, we'll come back to the chart. We'll talk about it. Alright, so we are back here at this site that we're looking at, where we can see one thing that's very important that I really paid attention to was the insider trading. So basically the insider trading is not the illegal insider trading. This is the insider trading where you can notice or see if a company, one of the officers, one of the high-ranking people in the company purchase any shares of that stock for that company. So when I went to this, when I was doing search at this site, and I saw this person, Greg Williams, found out who he was, and he's a large shareholder. He's the director at Second Sight Medical Products. All right. Well, what he did was he purchased 2 million shares and then 4 million. All right, on the 5th, on the 3rd, on May 3rd. All right. So that was vital because there was another time, also in 2017, he didn't make as much purchases as he did here, but back here in these past 3 days, November 20th, November 17th, 20th, and 21, he made some purchases also. So when you go back to the chart, we're going to look back at those dates and see what happened at that time. But it was very important to know that look how much he purchased. Okay, so basically when you see a company representative purchasing that kind of shares of stock, it's very important because there's something they know, something they feel confident about, and you can ride on the coattails per se. But I didn't just get in there because of the of seeing him purchase those shares. That was a very strong thing for me, and that was really something that made me want to get into it. But I also needed to know how the technicals lined up with this stock and where I could get in and what to look for. Were we close to a support and resistance level and things of that nature? So let's go back to the stock. Remember we talked about November 20th, November 17, 20, and 21, and we're going to go back and see what that did. So let's go back to the chart. Alright, so we're back at this chart, and we want to look back at some of the things that we just talked about first. So the first thing, when I talked about looking at getting into the asset, it wasn't just based on on seeing that he purchased those shares. That was a big thing. But then when I come to the chart and look at the chart, I also see that we're pretty much near this support level at 148. That was another big thing. You could see how this level held back here and then back here and then held again, and now you can see we're still moving higher with this asset, and it's moving pretty well. So today we jumped up from basically from 157 to 185 right now. Okay, so we're going to look back at what he also did back in, let's go back to November. I'm going to use this cross. So back in November, we said he purchased on November 17th, 20th, and 21st. So let's go to November 17th right here. He made purchases that day. He made purchases this day. That was a Friday. And then he came back Monday, made another purchase. Then he made another purchase on the 21st. All right. And then roughly, you could see this stock started moving. And then it went all the way up here. Went all the way up to this level. All right. At 255. And he pretty much bought it here around $1.12, somewhere in that area. All right. So that was vital to see that took place. So now what I did, come back over here. Let's move this back to the arrow. And then just seeing this here, you know, seeing that support and resistance, that was a major thing. So just knowing your levels is very good. You probably think this could make it back up to this 52-week high here, and then we'll just watch the price action, see how it reacts, and if it could break through that level and get up to this level, because this is a 52-week high right here. This is 52-week high close right here. All right, so that's the high. This is the high close. Now at the high close, when we got up here one time here, all right, because we gapped up here and then dropped. We gapped all the way up to this level and then dropped. Then we hit this level again and then had a nice rejection, and then we dropped again. So we're pretty much in a range here. So pretty much expecting maybe to get back up to the top of this range, which would be pretty close to around 204, 205, and then see if we can break through and get up to this level here. So this is a good thing. This is doing pretty well. Looks like it's got a little bit of momentum to it, and just looking at this chart, I'm just going to watch the support and resistance levels and see if we can hit our targets, and then we'll just go from there. We'll just watch that price action. So there's a lot of stocks that you could look at. We're going to look at basically, I have a stock course coming out, going to be very detailed, going to be talking about from the very beginning to the very basic stuff to the very more educational things that you may need to know, such as your ratios and things of that nature, how to read financial statements, how to choose a stock, based on growth and value. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty good course, and it's going to also talk about trading stocks, not with just Ichimoku, but with other assets, with other indicators such as moving average. You can also learn how to just trade these stocks just with price action. Basically do the same thing with Forex and everything. And then also understanding how to trade with fractals, how to trade with support and resistance, how to trade with a couple other indicators like RSI, Williams percent R. So it's going to be very detailed. Also some moving averages. Love the moving averages. So basically this is had a good opportunity when I posted this. I posted this in our forum yesterday. So I put a video out last night before the market opened so that traders could catch this move, and moved pretty good for us. So hopefully we could get up to this level and maybe higher. And then let's go back here and see what the all-time high was with this thing. I like to know what the potential is for a stock. So you could see we're at the all-time lows. We're just busting off of the all-time low. So now the all-time high was 24.02. Be very nice if we could get up back up that area again. That would be super nice, right? But anyway, I like that. But let's just see what happens. Try to get through these highs here and see if we get to those levels, and then just watch this thing go. I looked at this, but I didn't notice a lot of divergence. There was some divergence, but not major. As you could see, this level down here, and then you had this level here. That's a divergence when we're on this level. So looking at that divergence, you would look for the market to move a little higher. So I looked at that, didn't have a lot of divergence, but that was divergence there. As you can see, this is lower and this is higher, but these two levels are pretty much the same. So that's a divergence there. All right. So divergence helps me a lot to get into the market at support and resistance levels. I don't get in on the divergence. I just know that those levels, that's where divergence really kicks in, at a support and resistance level. And then I use price action to get into the market at that point. All right. So most of the indicators I never use an indicator to get into the market or for a signal. I use it basically for divergence or for strength or for momentum, but I never use it to say, well, I got this crossover here and I'm going to get into the market. I don't really even do that for Ichimoku because I don't even trade the TK crossovers myself. Once in a while I will, but pretty much I trade levels, so it doesn't matter what asset I'm using, it doesn't matter what indicator I'm using, I'm always going to trade a level. So it could be a moving average level, it could be a level off of Ichimoku, or it could be horizontal support and resistance levels. All right, so anything of that nature, I'm going to be trading the levels. I never trade the indicator. All right. So if you want to learn more about this trading, about trading stocks, about trading Forex, about trading cryptocurrencies, come visit us at www.fxatoneglance. Right up there, come visit us and think about becoming a member, offering a membership so you can dive into this stuff and start really learning. Other than that, keep watching on YouTube. And appreciate you guys. Have a great one. God bless. So long.